Hello, welcome. This is actually my first YouTube video. You could see a lot of shorts that I put it there, but this is the first time that I'm actually recording a long YouTube video, and I'm super excited to tell you about my journey and in general what you should avoid, maybe what kind of mistakes you shouldn't make, because I've made them and I will be always talking from my perspective and from my experience. So if you want to change career like I did, and if you're still wondering if this job, if this kind of profession is for you, then subscribe, because you will find out a lot about how it is actually from the kitchen side. So today I wanted to talk about what I've learned so far and what I would do differently if I would start coding again, what kind of mistakes I've made, and was it worth it? Would I do this again? Check this out. Let's go. So first thing that I kind of really regret, but I think that there wasn't a better path for me at that time. Actually, I didn't know what to do. But from my perspective, what I would advise to you guys, if you're taking a university course or bootcamp, don't rely on this path that much. So right now, I think that I will choose my own path. So at the same time, if I wouldn't have any bootcamp course or university course, I am not sure if I would finish that, because I am this kind of person that I need to have a deadline. If I don't have a deadline, then a lot of things can happen in the meantime. I may not have time for it. No, I'm joking, obviously. But at the same time, I think that I would spend much more time for just banging my head on the wall, dwelling on it, like what I should supposed to do. When I had my path from bootcamp, I knew exactly what I should supposed to do. But was it the correct path? I am not sure right now. First thing that I had to do when I finished bootcamp, it was to learn different technologies. I finished HTML, CSS and JavaScript without a framework, and my first job actually required to have a knowledge about the React. So would I repeat it again? I am not sure. Next thing that I did, it was a full stack course. Would I do it again? Not really. Straight away after a course, I changed to be a front-end developer, because to learn so many things at one time, when I was changing my career and I had just 1 year to learn these old technologies, basically I changed to being a front-end. So I cannot say that this knowledge about the back-end just disappeared and was not needed. But in fact, if I would knew that that will happen, I would focus more on front-end technologies than on everything at the same time. Second thing that I haven't done, and I should, it was to learn algorithm a little bit quicker. If I knew that it would be so crucial for me and all this knowledge with JavaScript, straight away I would jump on LeetCode and other websites to basically a little bit focus on algorithms and this, how to build it, what to do with it. While because I was learning everything in one go for a year, there wasn't any algorithm. There was more like how to do a drop down or animation. Yeah, definitely, if I would knew that, I would jump on LeetCode and algorithm way quicker. For all of that stuff, I had to quickly catch up. So on top of my bootcamp, I had a lot of knowledge to take. And it wasn't nice, because when you finish bootcamp, you're thinking like, yeah, I think that I'm prepared. I wasn't at all. 3, I would build more side projects. I think that after bootcamp, that was a second thing I think that was the most important. I actually didn't know how to build stuff. I had to buy a lot of Udemy courses, and I was watching a lot of YouTubes to basically do my side projects. When you're at work, actually, yes, you're learning every day something new, but at the same time, you don't have a time to test the solution. You're not gaining this knowledge. So first thing that you're doing when you're a junior, after work, you're spending a time on your side projects to basically be better, to basically improve on your code. And only one and good way to do this is to build projects. 4, I am aware that Stack Overflow is full of code that you can just copy and paste. It's not just only Stack Overflow, because you can go to CodePen and there is a lot of nice CSS solutions that they are really effective. But try to understand what actually is going on in this code. Don't try to copy and paste all the time, because this is not solution. If you would have to repeat it again, and apparently you've built it, yes, because this is in your project, how you would do it if you wouldn't have this part of code? You wouldn't understand it. So try to understand it first and then do a copy paste. If you really understand what's going on, then yes, that's perfect. But at first try to understand what this code do. Line by line, what this function do and what are these callbacks and where they are providing to and why this is how it is. I know that it's tricky, but believe me, it will save a lot of your time in the future. 6. I know that a lot of people won't agree with me, but if I would knew that WebStorm is so great, I think that I would change from VS Code to WebStorm way quicker. No one is paying me for that. I was VS Code advocate for years, but I haven't had this knowledge about the WebStorm at all. And someone at work basically said to me, like, you should use it because that will teach you a lot of stuff. I need to pay for a subscription, which is not that much, to be honest. But at the same time, like, this value what WebStorm is giving me, I think that this money for a subscription is basically nothing. So on WebStorm, you've got quick solutions that actually explaining you what you're doing. At the same time, you can find your part of code that you're working on way easier in a tree. As well, Git management, like all of this stuff with cherry picking, rebasing, merging, this is so much easier. A lot of stuff that is going on about your code and functions and like about the brackets. I know VS Code does that too, but you need to have on top of that a lot of extensions. I think that I'm learning with WebStorm more than I was learning with VS Code. And the VS Code sometimes actually is playing that. As well, one more thing I would forget. WebStorm is amazing for testing. 7. Rather than jumping straight away to React, I would learn JavaScript very well. I thought that I knew JavaScript enough to learn React, but then when it came to React, I was like, what is this? Like, what should I supposed to do with it? One thing that I really recommend to you guys, and it came up recently, at least I came across that recently, it's learnjavascript.online. This is not a promotion. I just tested myself and I think that absolutely it's great, and it teaches you JavaScript like you would like to. It explains things very nicely, and when you're going to the end of the chapter, you've got a task and you need to do it to go further. If you cannot do this task, you've got solution that you need to wait a little bit for, you've got the hints, but actually you're really improving JavaScript. And this is what I recommend to you guys. If you need to learn Vue, Angular or React, please master JavaScript first. This is really important. 8. So I haven't had anyone in my family or friends who were a software developer. I choose this path on my own, and I really would like to have someone that would tell me something about this industry. And what I really recommend is networking. Try to find people on Instagram, on Twitter, even on YouTube here, who's learning to code like you or who wants to change a career, and ask them questions. Have a friend like you, it really helps, because maybe sometimes you can struggle with things that actually everyone struggle, and you will avoid this feeling of like, is this for me? Am I in the right place? Yes, you are, but you just need to speak with others to find out that actually you're in the right place and this is the way to go. 9. I've mentioned that, but I will say it again. It's really, really nice thing to have a mentor. Again, I didn't have anyone who would be able to tell me anything about React and in general, like software development. I was that lucky that on my bootcamp I had a mentor. But at the same time, I think that having a proper mentor, not just only assigned to you for half an hour a week, would be something great. And if I would have this kind of person, I like choosing my path, if I would be learning myself, would be so much easier. And in general, like someone who will tell you like, yes, you're learning a good thing, but industry doesn't do that, and actually this is not common thing to do that, we're doing that different way, would be super helpful. And as well, this person could check your knowledge if you're ready to get this first job or not. 11. Make sure that you read documentation. What does it mean? Okay, so I always laugh. There is like saying, I'm an engineer, so I don't need to read instruction. No, you need to. Believe me that all of these courses that you're watching on YouTube or Udemy, they are made of documentation, and 9 times out of 10, these documentations actually are made so well that you will take from them much more than just paying for a course. Just read them. They are done really nicely these days, and they really can explain everything. For example, on hooks, every single example, it's there. And if you still don't understand, you can fill it up with some YouTube tutor. That will be way better, but actually everything, even sometimes I'm just going for a tailwind. I love tailwind, by the way. I am going to documentation to find out what is this classes and how I should supposed to use it. Yes, I can watch some tutorial on YouTube, but for me, right now, after 4 years of coding, it's easier to go to documentation, believe me. 12. Don't panic and read terminal commands. One thing that I did myself, and that was really bad. I always started to panicking when I had some error on my terminal, and I was just panicking because there was error. I was not even reading why and what's going on. Okay, so if you don't know what it is, 9 times out of 10, when you will copy this error and paste it on Google, that will tell you what actually you did wrong. And another thing, don't cry. I've cried so many times. Like I would say, like when I was learning for a year and a half how to code, I think that like every 3 days, on every 3 days, I had like mental breakdown. And this is normal. If you're going through this stage, don't worry. This is normal, and everyone got to this point that thought like, okay, coding is not for me. It is. If you really love it, you will overcome it and you will be good at it. If you like this episode, please follow for more. I will be always giving you truthful advices and talking from my perspective, how it is, how it's going, and I will be encouraging you actually to take this path because it's really worth it. See ya!